chosen one. It's happening in silence. This is the rising point. It's quiet now. Almost too quiet, isn't it? That eerie silence, the pause between breaths. The moment when the noise of the world fades, just enough for you to hear something else. The low hum of your rising. You may think nothing is happening, but let this be the declaration that something is shifting beneath the surface. This is not a stall, it's a signal. The silence is not the absence of movement. It is the evidence of divine preparation. You're not here by accident. You were drawn to this message because you're standing at a spiritual threshold. Everything you've endured, every delay, every disappointment, every season of invisibility was not punishment. It was protection. And now, with no alarms, no flashing lights, and no grand announcements, you are being positioned for your moment. But first, the silence. The silence is where God sharpens the chosen, where vision clears, where power is concealed until the unveiling. So as you listen to this message, take a breath. Let the quiet bless you. Watch all the way through, because this is where everything changes. And write your warmest wishes in the comments and the number 99 to activate a new frequency and energize the universe around your name. This is a chapter about the silent manifestation of divine promises. This is the moment where it starts, not with noise, but with truth that echoes in the spirit. Now, chosen, one like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. And let's begin. And here's the truth. The rising point is never loud. It doesn't begin with thunder. It begins with a whisper in the heart, a flicker of knowing that something is happening that you can't quite explain, but you can feel it. It's in the way your thoughts have shifted. It's in how your boundaries have strengthened. It's in how your spirit no longer entertains what once satisfied you. That's growth, that's elevation, that's God doing something monumental. Quietly, let the world underestimate you. Let them overlook you. That's exactly how the rising was designed. Because if they saw it too soon, they would interfere. If they heard the plan, they would try to sabotage it. But they can't stop. What they can't see, they can't block. What they don't even know is on the way. And right now, chosen one, you are being elevated in silence, so that when you emerge, no one will be able to deny the hand of God over your life. This is divine stealth. This is kingdom strategy. You are rising like the sun before dawn, unseen but inevitable. Understand this. What's building in your life is not based on effort alone. It's based on alignment. You've aligned your soul with purpose. You've allowed the painful pruning. You've walked away from things that didn't feed your future. And while it may have looked like you lost, you actually ascended quietly, consistently, courageously. That is what made the universe respond to your frequency. That is why everything around you is reconfiguring. Even if it seems nothing has changed, but don't expect applause. Yet this part isn't for the crowd. This part is sacred. It's between you and the one who chose you. Let this message serve as confirmation. This stillness isn't empty. It's full of sacred momentum. It's full of grace, moving things behind the scenes. It's full of miracles taking form in dimensions your eyes can't see, but your soul already knows. And if you can feel that even slightly, you're already rising. You've spent seasons being misunderstood, misread, mislabeled. You've been the one who carried weight in silence, healed wounds in silence, built dreams in silence. Now you are reaping in silence. The harvest is growing where the seeds were planted out of sight, and the breakthrough, it's already decided. Let me speak directly to your heart. Your silence has been speaking volumes in the spirit realm. Heaven has heard your unspoken prayers. The universe has picked up your silent intentions. The stillness that surrounds you now is the final breath before manifestation. The delay is not denial. It's divine orchestration. You're in the hallway between two dimensions. One door has closed, the next one hasn't opened yet. But feel this deeply, the handle is already turning. You just haven't heard the click. And when it opens, it will be the door that cannot be shut by man. The kind of opportunity that announces you without warning, the kind of blessing that doesn't need validation. Because it will prove itself. Keep being still. But do not mistake stillness for stagnation. You're not stuck. You're being stationed strategically, quietly, perfectly. And when the silence breaks, so will the limitations, so will the resistance, so will every lie spoken against you. You're not hidden because you're forgotten. You're hidden because you are being prepared for glory. And that kind of preparation is sacred. It happens far from noise, out of reach from premature judgment. You are being formed in divine privacy, so that your unveiling will carry weight, so that when the world sees you next, they'll have no choice but to say, "This could only be God." This is your rising point, not tomorrow, not next year. Now you are walking through a moment that has been written for you before you were born, and though you cannot hear it, everything is aligning with it. The silence is not a pause, it is a prelude. You are not losing your mind. You're gaining spiritual clarity. You are not being delayed. You're being deeply established. You're not being punished. You're being promoted in a way the world can't understand. You were never meant to be loud in your breakthrough. Your breakthrough was meant to be undeniable in its timing. It won't be because of who helped you. It won't be because you played the game or chased attention. It will be because heaven decided to reward your resilience. The silence is a seal, a divine mark over your life. What's happening inside you is more powerful than what's happening around you. That's why everything external may look unchanged. But your heart knows this, time it's different. Let them talk. Let them assume their conclusions about your life are based on what they don't know. But the truth is, you've been growing while it looked like nothing was moving. You've been rising through internal earthquakes that no one saw. You've been standing when everything in you wanted to run. And now the reward is on the way. Not loud, not rushed, but right, silent, strong, supernatural chosen. One you're rising won't need defending, it will speak for itself. And when it does, the ones who ignored your becoming will have no choice but to recognize your arrival. Not because you shouted, but because heaven revealed it. This is your moment. This is the turning point disguised in peace. This is the unfolding of a miracle. Too big to announce early. This is the rising, and it's happening in silence. There's a reason the caterpillar doesn't scream in the cocoon. There's no noise, no announcement, just quiet change, hidden metamorphosis. But when it emerges, it flies and nobody asks it. How they just watch in awe. Chosen one, that's exactly what's happening to you. This is your cocoon phase, but unlike others, your cocoon is not just transformation. It's divine engineering. You're not just becoming something new. You're becoming what you were destined to be from the very beginning. Not by force, but by flow. Not by shouting, but by surrender. It may feel like you're off the radar right now. Like no one's calling, no one's watching, no one's checking in. But what if I told you that's divine design? What if the quiet is heaven's way of isolating you from interference? Because some things cannot grow under constant observation. Some destinies need darkness, stillness, silence, so they can break through the surface with unstoppable force. The noise you think you're missing is exactly what's been blocking others. The spotlight you think you need would have burned you too soon. The attention you think you want is nothing compared to the glory that's about to find you on its own. You see, the rising point doesn't come when people finally believe in you. It comes when you believe in what's happening inside you, even when nobody else can see it. It's faith in the invisible. It's trust in the quiet. It's walking forward without proof and still knowing. You're on the path to everything you were promised. There's a crown forming over your name, and it hasn't been placed yet. For one reason, God is waiting for the perfect moment. Not when you're loudest, but when you're clearest. Not when you're popular, but when you're powerful and your power is peaking in silence. This is why the relationships fell off. This is why the opportunities dried up. This is why the invitation stopped, because when it's time to rise, distractions must fall. Not because you're being rejected, but because you're being refined. You're not forgotten. You're being forged right now. Your future is being built, brick by invisible brick. Conversations are happening about you in rooms you've never entered. People are sensing your name without knowing why. Destinies are aligning. Favor is multiplying, but all of it is happening in silence, because what's divine doesn't need a microphone. It only needs timing. You've been doing the inner work, healing what others ignore, releasing what doesn't fit, facing shadows, breaking cycles, and it's all been happening without a crowd. That's what makes this real. That's what makes you dangerous to every limiting force that tried to keep you small. This is not a pause. This is preservation. Your voice is being sharpened. Your light is being intensified. Your authority is being settled in silence so that when you speak again, doors will open. When you step again, ground will shake. When you move again, the atmosphere will change, and you won't need to convince anyone. You'll simply show up and everything will shift. This is how God works with the chosen loud. Blessings follow quiet obedience. That's why your silence hasn't been empty. It's been sacred. It's where God trusted you to hold the vision without validation, to protect what He placed inside you without showing it off. That's spiritual maturity, that's divine readiness. That's why this rising will last, because you didn't rush it. The ones who didn't see you coming will be the same ones who won't be able to take their eyes off you, not because of your effort, but because your emergence will carry glory. There is something about silent seasons that produce supernatural fruit, because when you're quiet, heaven gets loud on your behalf. Angels are already dispatched, pathways are being cleared, and the outcome is already written. You are rising, not by accident, but by blueprint. You were hidden for a reason, and now you are being revealed on purpose. Not everything sacred is supposed to be seen early, and that's why your growth has been so private, because what God is doing in you cannot be interrupted, and what is coming to you cannot be stopped when it manifests. You won't need to announce it. It will be so evident, so undeniable, that even your silence will sound like thunder, because true power never has to prove itself. It just arrives fully formed. And that's you. That's this moment. This is your rising point. The culmination of every lesson, every loss, every lonely night that you endured without breaking. You didn't just survive, you transformed and now chosen one. Your silence is birthing visibility. The visibility that doesn't just show you, it exalts you. It places you where only destiny could take you. Let them wonder. How let them ask why. You won't need to explain. Because those who rise in silence shine without effort. The spotlight is coming, but your spirit is the source. And you didn't need applause to keep going. You didn't need confirmation to keep believing. That's why this next chapter is going to surprise even you. You're not who you were. You're not where you were. You're not what they thought you are. More. And now that more is about to unfold. Quietly, powerfully, irreversibly, you're in the part of the story where the page is turning, but no one hears it. Only you feel the shift. Only you sense the lift, because this part is not about being seen. It's about being sealed. And now you are get ready, because what's been happening in silence is about to speak for itself. They don't know what it took to get here. They don't know how many nights you stood in the dark praying for direction, with tears in your eyes and faith in your chest. They don't know how many decisions you had to make without any confirmation, any sign, or any guarantee. And still, you stood that strength. The kind that grows in silence is the rarest kind. It's not forged in praise. It's born in the hidden moments, the private battles, the quiet obedience, the yes that no one saw but heaven. That's why you're rising, not because of who approved you, but because of who you've become when no one was looking. You've been strengthened by silence. You heard, built your inner. Yes, every door that shut made you walk with more focus. Every person who left cleared space for better alignment. This silence isn't failure, it's refinement. You're being shaped by divine hands. And what is formed in God's hands will never break under pressure. It will rise under purpose. Chosen one, this is your becoming season, and the world doesn't even see it happening yet. But they will, because you've been preparing in the dark. What will shine in the light? Your next chapter isn't a repeat. It's a reveal. It's the unveiling of everything you've carried with grace. Everything you've nurtured in secrecy. Everything that's been whispered to your heart in dreams and visions is now stretching toward fulfillment. Not because you shouted for it, but because your soul was aligned with it. They thought silence meant stillness, but you've been building momentum. They thought the quiet meant you gave up, but you've been getting wiser. They thought you lost, but the truth is, you were just laying the foundation of your rise. You are not the same version of yourself that walked into the valley. You've become sharper, clearer, stronger, and most of all, rooted. Your roots have gone deep into faith, into discipline, into divine vision, and those who are deeply rooted can't be shaken. What's coming will not be like anything from your past. This is not a repeat cycle. This is not the same test. This is not the same heartbreak. No, this is the rising point, the moment your inner reality matches your divine destiny. And it had to be quiet because if others knew the magnitude of what's coming, they would have tried to latch on too soon. But this blessing is personal. It's tailored. It's earned in grace. It's a reflection of your inner work, not your outer appearance. The universe has been watching your inner atmosphere, not your outer metrics. That's why doors are about to open for you, that others tried to open with force but couldn't. Because those doors were never built to respond to manipulation. They were designed to open to divine maturity. And now that you've grown, the locks are falling off. Let it happen in silence. Let it keep unfolding without explanation. You owe no one a press release. You owe no one a preview. Your preparation is proof enough. The elevation is happening even as you breathe. Right now, something is rearranging itself for your good. Conversations are shifting, contracts are aligning, timelines are accelerating, and yet to the natural eye, it still looks calm. That's the power of silent transformation. By the time they notice it's already done, there's a reason the volcano is silent before it erupts. It gathers power in stillness, and when it finally speaks, everything shifts. That's you quiet, power, divine combustion, inevitable release. You've become too focused to be shaken, too spiritually aware to be deceived, too refined to entertain what once distracted you. And now, elevation must obey. The divine law of manifestation says, what's been aligned inward must eventually show up outward. The harvest cannot deny the seed that's been planted in spiritual soil. And you've been planting in silence. You've been watering it with faith. You've been shielding it with discernment. And now it must grow chosen. One, your life is about to bloom in directions that can't be traced back to logic. Your elevation will confuse those who watched your process, but never understood your preparation. Because this isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving your soul right. Your instincts were never lying to you. That feeling, that knowing, that sense that there's more. It's always been accurate even when you doubted yourself, even when you questioned the path, even when the timing made no sense. Deep down, you knew you were always being pulled forward, not by noise, but by inner truth. That voice inside you that kept whispering, "Don't give up yet." That was divine alignment. That was your higher self, guiding you through the fog, and now the fog is clearing. You will rise without force. You will rise without shouting. You will rise without needing to clap back or explain, because you are not just being elevated, you are becoming undeniable. Your story is changing. Shape, the narrative is no longer about surviving. It's about becoming. The transformation has already occurred within you, and the external must now reflect the internal. Let them look, let them ask, let them wonder, because when the silent one rises, the world has no choice but to watch you were hidden to be healed. You were silent to be strengthened, and now you're rising to be seen, not by accident, but by appointment. And this time, you will not shrink back. You will not apologize for the favor. You will not downplay the blessing, because you've been quiet long enough. You've paid in silence. Now, you're about to receive an overflow. And the overflow won't be loud either. It will be deep. It will be consistent. It will be unstoppable. So stay centered. Keep listening. Keep moving with quiet intention. You don't need everyone to get it. You don't need everyone to believe it. You just need to remain rooted in truth, because what's happening in silence now will roar in glory later. This is your rising point, and nothing will stop it. Now, it's strange, isn't it, how everything feels calm, yet your spirit is alert. You're not anxious, but you're aware. You're not running, but something in you knows you're moving. This is what it feels like when breakthrough begins in silence. It doesn't come with fanfare. It comes with a spiritual nudge, a shift in your energy, a deep, holy knowing that something has changed. Chosen one, that feeling is not your imagination. That awareness is your confirmation. The energy around you is responding to your inner evolution. You didn't just grow, you evolved. You didn't just wait, you aligned. You didn't just hold on, you rose in the waiting. This is the season where the silence will begin to echo. Echo with meaning, echo with memory, echo with every word God whispered to you when you felt unseen. And now those promises are not lost. They are maturing in motion. The silence has not stolen your future. It has protected it. You didn't miss it. You didn't mess it up. You didn't go backwards. You are right where you need to be, because the rising does not begin when others see you. The rising begins the moment you accept that your power no longer needs permission. You've been trusted with this silence because heaven knew you were ready, ready not to be seen, but to be steady, ready, not to be praised, but to be anchored, ready, not to be celebrated, but to be established. And now the shift begins not just around you, but through you. You've stopped begging for what's already yours. You've stopped chasing what isn't aligned. You've stopped explaining your vision to those without the capacity to hold it. That alone proves how far you've come. And now the reward must match the refinement. This time, the tables turn without noise. They turn because destiny whispered now, and when destiny speaks, everything must move. You are no longer who they remember. You are no longer in the same frequency you used to occupy. You've stepped into something sacred, something sealed, something soundless but strong. And because of that, you'll notice how some things no longer have access to you. Not because you're better, but because you've become more aware. You no longer need to respond to everything. You no longer need to react. The silence has taught you discernment, and now that discernment is shaping your direction, you will not return to what broke you. You will not shrink for the sake of comfort. You will not entertain environments that try to confuse your crown, because now you understand the weight of your calling. You understand that what's inside of you is sacred, and sacred things require sacred protection. Let this be your reminder: you didn't rise to prove anything. You rose because you were chosen to rise. There's a difference. One seeks validation, the other knows its assignment. You are no longer trying to be seen. You're being placed. You're no longer begging for opportunity. You're becoming the opportunity. And that transition happened quietly. No one noticed, no one clapped, no one gave you a medal, but heaven smiled because your growth wasn't for performance, it was for purpose. And now purpose has taken root. Deep roots. Silent roots, but unshakable. You've entered the part of your journey where peace will follow you like a shadow, where doors will open simply because your presence carries divine weight, where people will start to shift around you, not because of what you said, but because of who you've become. Your elevation is activating spiritual movement. Even now, as you listen to this, someone is preparing to mention your name. In a room of favor, an unexpected opportunity is circling you, waiting for the divine green light. A blessing that bypasses protocol is heading in your direction, not because you demanded it, but because you're aligned with it. This is the fruit of silence, the kind that multiplies in the background, the kind that grows without spotlight, the kind that appears fully formed, yet was forming all along. You've passed the test of waiting. Without whining, you've endured the stillness without collapsing. You've held your vision when everything tried to break it. And now, everything that was once quiet will begin to speak on your behalf. Your story, your presence, your glow, even your absence, it will all speak. You've become a mirror of grace, a reflection of resilience, a vessel for the divine. And it shows even when you don't say a word, because the rising doesn't ask for attention, it demands recognition through its very existence. This is your moment of becoming more than expected, more than imagined, more than what others thought they saw when they overlooked you. They saw silence, but silence didn't mean emptiness. It meant you were being filled. They saw stillness, but stillness didn't mean you were done. It meant you were gathering power. They saw quiet, but quiet didn't mean weakness. It meant you were becoming undeniable, and now chosen one. You're too far along to go back too deep into your assignment to entertain doubt, too aware of who you are to settle for who you used to be. The sound of your rising is not a roar. It's a shift, a subtle, sacred, irreversible shift. So move with grace, speak with clarity, walk with the confidence of someone who knows. They are sent, not just seen. You are not late. You are not missing anything. You are not forgotten. You are becoming in the most divine way possible by growing in silence and rising in full force. And when the silence finally breaks, so will every limitation that ever tried to hold you back. This is the rising point, and you are right on time. Can you feel it now? Chosen one, not in words, not in noise, but in the subtle rearrangement of your soul. You're not who you were when this silence began. Something has shifted in your spirit. Something has aligned so precisely that you no longer panic. When things are quiet, you trust the silence. Because now, silence doesn't mean still, it means sacred. You have passed through the fire without screaming. You have crossed through storms without begging for shortcuts. You stood while others scattered. You believed when evidence was absent. And because of that, you've become a channel for something rare, spiritual maturity. That's what silence produces. That's what this journey has been, forming a version of you that doesn't need to fight for visibility, because you've been chosen for impact. You were never called to be average. You were never meant to blend in. That's why your rise had to come through isolation, through the deep, uncomfortable cocoon of stillness. The quiet was not God ignoring you, it was God insulating you. And now everything that grew in secret will be revealed in strength. This is the season where your inner work begins to spill into your outer reality. But pay attention, it won't all come in obvious ways, because what's happening is still strategic. The unveiling will be subtle. An opportunity here, a connection there, a sudden alignment, a door you didn't knock on, swinging open, a yes, where there used to be a wall. And the beautiful part, you won't have to force any of it, because the chosen don't chase, they attract. And you're attracting now, not because of your image, but because of your essence. You carry something different. You've earned it through invisible battles, private prayers, quiet obedience, and hidden tears. And now the frequency you radiate is one that pulls the right things in and repels the wrong ones without you lifting a finger. This is magnetic favor. This is divine attraction. This is what it means to rise in silence, where the results begin speaking louder than your words ever could. People will soon wonder, how did this happen so fast? But you'll know it didn't happen fast. It happened in silence, in surrender, in seasons when no one saw the hours. You put in the doubts you overcame or the inner rewiring you allowed. They didn't witness the moments you gave up everything that wasn't aligned just to protect your peace. But heaven saw, and heaven took note. And now heaven is responding. The rewards that are coming will fit you in ways nothing before ever could. Because these aren't recycled blessings. These aren't hand-me-down opportunities. These are tailored promises measured by your spirit, not your status. That's why they couldn't come before. They had to wait until you stopped seeking validation, until you learned how to protect your energy, until you knew how to walk alone without collapsing, until you mastered the art of waiting without complaining, until you understood the value of peace over popularity. And you did. You've done all of it quietly, diligently, spiritually. And now the rising point has turned into the revealing point. You're about to walk into rooms where your name was spoken long before you arrived. You're about to receive invitations that feel like they were waiting for you to become this exact version of yourself. You're about to inherit breakthroughs that fit your hands because your hands were shaped by what you carried in silence. And the most beautiful part, you're not surprised because you knew it would happen. You didn't know when, you didn't know how, but something in you always said, keep going, something is happening even if I can't see it yet. And it was the roots were growing, the alignment was forming, the path was clearing all while you trusted in silence. Chosen one, this is more than a new chapter. This is a new dimension. You've shifted beyond the limits of your old season. You no longer fit in the places that once made you feel small. You no longer need the same affirmations that once fueled you. You are sustained by something stronger. Now, clarity. And when clarity is present, confusion has no power. You now know what to say yes to. And more importantly, what to say no to you now. Recognize who adds value and who drains it. You no longer panic when things go quiet. You see silence as a signal, a sacred code, a confirmation that God is working in ways that don't need your interference.